My message this morning is titled, Let's Be Winners. To me, this sounds echoey, really big time. Ooh, I don't like that sound. Sorry. Yeah, I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about, and then God kind of popped up this meme for me, and I thought, wow, that's kind of like an aha moment because, I was really kind of struggling. And then, aha moments are those moments that you have that you just know that God sent you this message, that it's, you go the right way or you do what you need to do. And so I love when we have an aha moment and we can, manifest it into something in our lives. But it's also a validation for us of being a spiritual being and that oneness with God if we stay open to those little aha moments. But here's the meme. It says, people who want to see you win help you win. Remember that. Isn't that cute? I thought it was a cute little picture. And that's the thing. I mean, it all makes sense. And do we reciprocate by helping other people win too? We all want people in our corners that are going to cheer us on and be happy for us. But a lot of times we feel like we're alone, like nobody cares and nobody really wants us to succeed or really wants to help us, or we're in this situation and where's anybody, coming to the rescue kind of thing. And that's not really what it's about when we talk about winners, really. It's more than that. And we have to get over that idea of getting frustrated or discouraged, and think that it's that kind of thing. But what happens when we get in that mode is we end up asking ourselves these questions. Why am I going through this? Why is this happening to me? And why isn't anybody in my corner? Anybody ever go there? Yeah. And a lot of people call that being on your little pity pot or making it all about me, poor old me kind of syndrome, which, can take you down and the opposite direction from being a winner, right? Yeah. And so, when we wrap this idea of why isn't somebody coming to the rescue, sometimes it's one or two people that we think about. Why isn't that person here to help me? And so then we start thinking, how can someone do that? Or why do they do what they do? And we take it on like they are doing something personally to us, and we take that burden on, we take those layers on, and we just keep building on that. Oh, that's their, we don't think about it, whatever they're living through or whatever is happening for them is all about them. No, we start piling it on ourselves. And when we do that, what do we end up? We end up not in the right frame of mind. We're not thinking about being a winner. We're not seeing them as a winner. We're just going down that path of disappointment and feeling violated and helpless. And then we end up more, in the pity pot or curled up on our bed, crying our eyes out. But when we start feeling like everything and everyone is against us, we have to change to this. Because we know when everybody's against us or feeling like everybody's against us, what can we do about it? Nothing. We can't do anything about it, right? Yeah, we have to change it in our own minds. And some things we can do and some things we can't do. But I think it all comes down to control, what we feel like we can control. And so I've got a few things for you today about that. Things we can't control are, and this was another little clip art thing I found. Things we can't control are the past and the future, the actions of others, the opinions of others, what happens around me, what other people think of me, the outcome of my efforts, and how others take care of themselves. None of those are things in the realm of what we can control. And we have to know that we have to live in this now moment, that it doesn't make any difference about the past or the future, because the past is the past. The future, it can't be predicted. We can make plans, but it's not going to get us anywhere. But we live in the now, what is happening right here, what your actions are, what your words are, what your thoughts are in the now moment, whatever that now moment is. And then we move forward. The past and the future only exist as a measure of time. So we don't have to worry about that time that those things happen. The actions and opinions of others are definitely out of our control. We cannot force anything upon anyone, and get the results that we desire, can we? No. Now, we can suggest to people, we can try to manipulate people, we can bribe people, we can think that we've got the control, we're going to make this happen, and then what does it get us? Nowhere. Because either the person you're trying to control knows your game and sees that you're manipulating and trying to bribe or control, or you end up in the big mess of being disappointed again and frustrated and all that kind of thing. It doesn't do you any good. It doesn't serve you. It's futile to try to manipulate anybody into doing something you want them to do. And as far as opinions go, everybody has one, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what does that mean? It means that everybody has an opinion. And does it really matter? No. You can respectfully listen to their opinion and then you move on. It's not about you. It's about where they are standing and what they feel like. And my opinion, I mean, even Reverend Warren and I never have the exact opinion about something. There's always nuances in whatever you determine, as what you think something should be. And even in scientific theory and opinions, that changes from time to time, believe it or not. And then the next point that they made on what you can control is this. What happens around us or in the world is not under our control. What we can control is our thoughts about what is happening by praying and lifting it up to God. I don't know how many times I see people get so upset about what all's happening in the world. Right now, I feel like, there are people being sucked back into, and this is my opinion, I have one. But people being sucked back into wearing masks and being worried about COVID. And it's like, that might be happening in the world. It could be happening to the next 3 people you meet. But you have no control over that. And if you don't feel comfortable in wearing a mask or worried about it, then good. We shouldn't be worried about it. What happens when we worry about something? Or we start getting nervous about something? What's going to happen? We're going to experience it. Because we're bringing it forth. Whatever we focus on, we bring forth. So the best thing to do is to, like I just say, when somebody says they have COVID, I said, and most people are saying this to me, 3 days. They've been sick for 3 days. I said, well, that's like the flu. I just chalk it up to being like the flu. We always have had flu. I mean, I remember when I was a little kid and I had vomiting flu. Or when I was a teenager and had diarrhea flu. I mean, all these things are things that we experience in life, but we don't have to think that we can control it or make everybody else form into what we want it to be. You see what I'm saying? I know people go crazy about other stuff too, like what kind of seeds you plant and all that kind of stuff. If that's your focus, hey, I'm not saying you shouldn't care, but I'm saying you can't make a difference in the whole world. You can only focus in on where you're at in the world right now and who it is affecting or whatever. Some people change their diets to go along with what they believe or whatever. That's cool. But, don't expect everybody in the world or even your little world to conform. We can't control that. But we can look at the idea that the highest good is going to come forth for everybody, that we can hold that in our prayers and stuff. The next one is what other people think about us is none of our business. I love that.
None yet.
Yeah.
None yet.
Because, yeah, exactly. And, that's what we get so tangled up in. Especially, I think a lot of Unity people are very intuitive. And so, when you're talking to somebody and you get done with the conversation, maybe it's the next day, maybe it's that night, whatever, you start thinking, what did they mean by that? Did they really say that? Or were they coming at me? Or was that, I thought about something yesterday, and I thought, that person was being a mean girl, And it happened probably 6 months ago, but I thought of somebody and I thought, oh my gosh. And I didn't realize it at the time, but now I'm focusing on it, and I was like, this is exactly opposite of your message that you're speaking of tomorrow. You have to knock that stuff out of your head. But that's how we get, isn't it? We get hung up on those little thoughts that pop up. And true or not, who cares? It's none of our business. We have to be in the now, living from the now, being who we need to be, and focus on the idea that we're spiritual beings. And then the rest of it goes by. And if we do start judging somebody else or, pointing fingers at whatever the situation is, whatever they said or did or what you think they said or did, then we just need to take a breath and turn within and say a prayer and release it. That's the best thing to do, because you sure don't want to start carrying that stuff around. That backpack gets heavy real quick if you start doing that. The next one was the outcome of our efforts. Sometimes we might get discouraged because of the outcome of our efforts. And I love that, shooting the arrows and never hitting the target. But sometimes we struggle to do something, don't we? And we end up feeling like we're just wasting our time and our money. I mean, I've been there. I sit there and invest a lot of time or money in something, and then I think, God, this is just not going to happen. And you kind of get kind of down and depressed maybe about that. But you have to realize that those little things that happen like that only prepare you to be in this now moment and realize, okay, I'm not going to do that again. That didn't work for me then. Let's figure out a new way to go. And that's what's cool. And maybe 6 months from now, the thing that you were doing back 6 months will work today. It might not have worked 6 months ago, but it'll work today, and you'll know a better way to do it. And so we can't look at it as like something, we were trying to make this happen, we were trying to control it, we were trying to bring it on, and then all of a sudden it didn't work, and God, look at that, look at all I did, and look at that, nothing happened. No, let it go and realize it's just a learning process. It's a place to grow, and that we need to change paths or ideas, or we just need to create something new. And God's always there to create something new. All great leaders will tell you that you have to fail in order to succeed. And sometimes you have to fail again before you do succeed. And that's the cool part. We just don't ever give up. We just pick ourselves up and try to do better. Which leads us to how other people take care of themselves. We all have the power to keep ourselves clean. Mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. It's our choice. And if someone is homeless or a beggar, that's on them. It's not on us. I mean, I think, our compassion, our human compassion is great. But when we see somebody begging on the street, our compassion takes over. Instead of seeing them as a child of God, we're thinking, oh, I've got to help that person, or I've got to give that person some money, or I've got to do that. But do you know there is a plethora of programs out there to help every single person? And, that's what I loved about that booklet they put together even. There's ways to get help, and there's ways to hinder people. And so the person themselves has to be able to pull themselves out of whatever funk they're in and to move forward and not end up. And I know that sounds kind of cold-hearted. I mean, I'm a minister. I should be so giving and kind. But you have to know that whatever you're doing, if you're able to give it and release it and not think anything about it again, cool. But if you think you're there to help them be better and make it different, and you want to see the results, then you're going back to trying to control, aren't you? You're not doing it for just the act of giving or the act of being. No, you're doing it to control the outcome of that person. And guess what? Doesn't work, does it? No, we all know that. So, can we help them be winners? Well, yeah, we can, by praying and being positive and sharing resources with them. And, whatever those resources need to be for that person to be successful in life. I like to think that here at Unity Church right now, that we provide the perfect place for people and the perfect message really for people to see a new perspective of life, to see their value, to see that they are a child of God and that we are here to lift them up. I mean, we all are positive with each other. We try to encourage each other, and that's a beautiful thing. So it's just another resource for people. So the little meme goes on with what we can control. So what can we control? And they say this, which if you look at this little picture, this was the thing out of my control that I just went over. But all this is on the inside, in your own head and your own body. What we can control is our thoughts, words, and actions. We all know this, right? Mm-hmm. Our boundaries, the goals we set, what we give our energy to, how we speak to ourselves, and how we handle challenges. And of course, we all know Unity pushes this so much. Our thoughts, words, and actions are the most important thing. When we align our thoughts, words, and actions with spirit, with truth, it brings forth that in which we believe and know to be true. And we manifest what we focus on, whatever it is. So if you want to sit there and focus on something not good, guess what? You're going to be living not good. But if you focus on the good, then good's going to come forth. When we set boundaries for ourselves, we are creating a sacred space for our energy and God's energy to exist around and through us, to fuel us in a healthy way. And this, when I read that about setting boundaries for ourselves, I should have asked you this before, Dee Dee, but it just popped in my head, about you saying you surrounded your house with white light and everything. And that's what I was thinking of, and that's why I chose this thing. She had some visitors come, and their energy kind of bothers her sometimes. Negative energy, yeah. So she surrounded her place with white light and saw the white light, and everything went great. And that's what we do. We have to remember that our energy is very sensitive, and that our energy is connected to God's energy. And when we tap into our energy and align it with God energy, then the other stuff that happens around us just kind of bounces off, like these things are bouncing around, but it'll bounce away. You won't even see it, or you feel it, or know it. And that's a cool thing about the spiritual beingness of ourselves. And we have to know how to make healthy choices. You know, we need to know when to say no and be okay with it. Don't feel guilty. Don't take it on like, oh God, I shouldn't have told them that I wouldn't do that. No. Set your boundary, believe that you're making the right choice, and live by that. And it changes everything that we do. You have to make healthy boundaries in your relationships with work, your family, your school, if you're going to school, any of those kind of places. You have to be able to say, this is what I'm willing to do, this is what I'm not willing to do. And when, the boundary might be that we quit putting things off, that we decide that we're going to do something and do it. Because that's another thing that will torment you and make you feel out of control, because it's always edging at you. You know, when you say you're going to do something and then you never do it.
Procrastination.
Yeah, it is. But, sometimes you need to just reply in that moment. And another good one is to choose to speak directly with someone when you are not feeling good about something, or if you feel like you are having emotions or feelings about something, then come to the person instead of talking about them behind their back to everybody else. That doesn't work at all. But either way, boundaries are important for us to look at. The next one, it kind of goes along with it in a way, but it's about when we create goals, we become winners. And, we can see and claim our success by setting some goals, by saying, this is what I'm going to do next. Sometimes, believe it or not, waking up in the morning, taking a shower is a huge goal for a lot of people. Sometimes you just don't want to get up and you just don't want to take care of you. But that's not life, and that's not where you want to be. But setting that goal can help you be successful at that. Setting lunch plans with somebody and keeping them, that's important too. Because I've known a lot of people that, want to go to lunch with somebody or meet them up somewhere to go for a walk or whatever, and then they never follow through. They call and cancel or whatever. And I had a brother that used to do this. He'd say he's going to come over for dinner, and then he'd never show up, and then he wouldn't answer the phone for 2 days. And, it really hurt my feelings. And, yes, he had addiction problems, but just the common courtesy and the boundary he should have set for himself and say, I'd love to come to dinner, but I can't because I don't know, I would have said, well, then show up when you can, because that would have been better for me and better for him as far as that relationship goes. So sometimes, we have to just know that we can't just ignore it and not, and blow it off or act like, oh, the next time they see me, they won't say anything. Well, no, that's not setting a boundary for yourself or being in that place. Sometimes a good place to be on creating a goal is to tell yourself you're going to call a friend and actually make the phone call. You'll think about somebody and you'll think, oh, I should call that person. Oh, I don't have time right now. No, if you're thinking about that person, then you should give them a call, because there could be a reason that God's sending you that message. That's where the intuitiveness of who we are as spiritual beings comes back into play. Plus, when we set these little goals like this, it makes us feel better about ourselves and makes us feel more accomplished. And don't we all want to be there? I mean, doesn't that make you feel good, make you feel like a winner when you've actually accomplished something, when you've actually been in that place of fulfilling those little things that you set before yourself? And it doesn't have to be something major like, you know, completing your degree or getting your doctorate or paying off all your credit cards or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be anything major like that. It's just a place for you to build some self-confidence and some feeling like you have control. Because we do need to feel like we have some control over some of the things in our lives in order to feel like a winner. Either way, though, it is always time to celebrate winning. So what are we giving our energy to? Where are we focusing our energy? Because I think life is short, and we do not want to waste our energy on things that don't sing to our soul. I've always loved that phrase, do what sings to your soul. And when you do things that sing to your soul, man, that's a powerhouse, isn't it? It feels so good. I mean, talk about a great high is that when you're doing something that sings to your soul, you can see it and feel it and know it. And it's so huge because then again, you're expressing the energy of God and you're sharing that with people. You're not trying to control them. You're not trying to make them do something that you want them to do. You are in the circle together, celebrating and respecting each other and feeling like all of you are winners. It's so cool. And I know that, like, you know, as far as things that sing to your soul, I thought about this, that there's a lot of you that do extra things for your fur babies, you know. And there's some that do sports that really enjoy, you know, their sporting stuff or volunteer work. You know, Bill, it sings to his soul to do volunteer work, and I think that's huge. And when you are using that kind of energy that sings to your soul and going forth like that, you are bringing joy to yourself without even knowing it. You know, just those little things, taking care of your horse or taking care of your bunny or whatever animals you have now. I don't even know. But we have to do these things that sing to our soul. And the next thing that's very important is how we speak to ourselves. How are we speaking to ourselves? Yeah, that's a big one. You know, how many times have we said, oh, God, that's so stupid. Why'd you do that? Mm-hmm. Why do we do that? Right there, we're just notching ourselves down. I mean, I had you feeling so good about singing to your soul, and then just with those simple words, it felt like we dropped an octave or something. But we dropped, and we have to quit doing that. All those little things, the minute you say it, cross it out. The minute you say anything negative to yourself, just cross it out and say, no, I'm not stupid. I'm not, I'm not dumb. I'm not doing anything that I'm not supposed to be doing in this now moment. That's all we have to do because we are perfect expressions of God. And the minute you remember that and you know that you're that energy of God expressing, then guess what? It is all good. It changes how you do. And whatever error, you know, Fillmore always called sin error, which I love, or error thinking. I love that term too. But whenever we have one of those, we have to be able to stop and just release again, let go, say a little prayer, take a breath, whatever it is, refocus, and then go forth. It makes a big difference. And quit letting that stuff, whatever has occurred, stumble you and make you feel less than. We don't want to go there. We have to live in the now. And this brings us to how we handle challenges. Don't you love that picture? Yeah. And this is when we have challenges, this is when we find people that will help us win. We're not looking for people to do it for us or pay for it or try to control them to do exactly what we want. No. We are here to look for people who want to cheer us on, that want to say, hey, you've got this, or, you know, let's do it together, or whatever. But from that energy of spirit, from that energy of God, from that energy of your heart that's singing to your soul, there's people that will, no matter what you're doing, will feel like they want to be a part of that, whatever it is you're doing. Don't you agree? And we have to surround ourselves with people that will help us handle the challenges and help us feel like we are the winner, that we can make this happen. And, that's also being able to release whatever control you have on it and letting somebody else have some control too. And that's huge, because that's when you're including people into the arena to become a winner. And that's what we want, isn't it? We don't want to make it like I'm going to say it. Anal-driven thinking, We don't want to be like an ASS about the whole thing. We want to be able to release it and let other people have some control too, because we do get into that and see the potential that's waiting there for all of us. Okay, the next one is, they do not need to do anything for you except cheer you on and remind you that you are worthy, important, and that you can do this. That was a good clapping one, isn't it? Yeah. We think about this and think about a star athlete that goes out. He's not, if he's a star athlete, he's not hanging around with his high school buddies or college buddies, sitting around drinking beer, talking smack or whatever. No. He's hanging out with people that are successful or that are going to help him be successful. And you think about that, you surround yourself with somebody who is going to see that potential and see more than what you're seeing in the moment maybe. And that's what we should do. We should get the people that are clapping for us, that are happy for us, that want to see us be winners, because we all are winners. We're all that expression of God here on this earth. And that's what we want. And sometimes we have to be the cheerleader and cheer on. And sometimes we have to let somebody else be the cheerleader and cheer on. And if we don't feel like we have any cheerleaders in our corner, then guess what? We've been picking the wrong people to be in our corner with us. And we have to find the people that will be our cheerleader with us. I mean, it's amazing how you can feel like doo-doo at one moment and call that person, and they'll say the right thing, and it'll make you feel like you're brand new again. Isn't it true? We all have somebody like that. Well, Myrtle had this quote. Wait a minute, I got one more before that. But the whole thing is to not get bitter or angry or retaliate, because that is not going to take us anywhere. That'll just take us down the wrong path. And then here's the next one. When we are a winner, there is no room for jealousy. And we have to remember that, because we do sometimes think, oh, that person thinks they're all that. Or that person's got success and or they got money, or they have all the right clothes, or whatever it is, and we start getting jealous. We don't think about ourselves being able to have that same thing. I'm telling you, whatever is out there in the universe, you can have it too. If you want it, you can have it. And we forget that. We start looking at other people because maybe they're not our cheerleader. Maybe they're not the right person for us, but we're judging them on where they're coming from, and that doesn't take us into that winner circle at all. So we have to take a breath and say, okay. And I found this little thing from Myrtle, and I thought it was really good. It was one of her little letters from Myrtle's Healing Letters, and this one's really a scenario about somebody saying they wanted to covet this guy's wife, right? But this scenario could be switched up to whatever it is we are coveting. And so I just want to share this little bit with you. But Myrtle put, someone asks her, suppose I desire my neighbor's wife or his property. Is that desire born of God? And can I see it fulfilled by affirming that it is mine? So this person's thinking, hey, I can use the power of positive thinking and get this guy's wife, right? But Myrtle answers, you do not and cannot by any possibility desire that which belongs to another. You do not desire your neighbor's wife. You desire the love that seems to you to be represented by your neighbor's wife. You desire something to fill your heart's craving for love. Affirm that there is for you a rightful and an overflowing supply and claim its manifestation. It will surely come, and your so-called desire to possess your neighbor's wife will suddenly disappear. So, you do not in reality desire anything that belongs to your neighbor. You want the equivalent of that for which his possessions stand. You want your own. There is today an unlimited supply of all good provided in the unseen for every human being. No man's needs have less, that another man may have more. Your very own awaits you. Your understanding faith or trust is the power that will bring it to you. So simple, so great words. And it doesn't matter what is happening. If it's just somebody having a new car and you think, well, why can't I have a new car? Whatever it is, maybe you just think somebody's more spiritually involved than you are. Guess what? You can feel like you're spiritually involved too. But Myrtle always encourages that bottom line, to look for what that desire really means, or what that angst or whatever it is really means. And that's what we have to think about. If we're not feeling like a winner, then what is it that's underlying that is controlling us, that is making us not see the idea that we are a winner? And that control that takes us down is not living in the now moment. Because you know, whatever you think you can control today, you can't control tomorrow. I mean, you might be able to, but more than likely things change. And so we have to keep that mindset that we are worthy and deserving, and that all things can come to us, and that we don't have to always feel like we are in control, because we are always winning. We are always winners. If you find yourself falling from the seat of a winner, thinking you are not worthy or no one cares, trust that God is bringing your good to you right here and now. Do you believe that?
Yes.
I hope so. Please allow yourself to claim your power, and together, let's be winners.